Hello and welcome to our webinar. We're the Accountants Mastermind and my name is Mark. I'm here today with Nikki, Jenny and Claire from FreshPay, and they're going to introduce FreshPay to you and the advantages of using cloud payroll software. Say hello, ladies.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi and welcome, and let's get started. I should hand over to Jenny and Claire and Nikki.
Fabulous. Thank you all very much for joining us today. Just going to share my screen. Welcome. Thank you very much, Mark, for your introduction. Firstly, I'll tell you a little bit about who we are. I am Jennie Gillam. As well as being a co-founder of FreshPay, I run a small accountancy practice in Sussex. Nikki Hageman and Claire Haynes are my two co-founders. They're both here today. Nikki runs a small accountancy practice in Bedford, and Claire runs a bookkeeping and payroll bureau on the Oxford-Northamptonshire borders. So you can see a theme here. We've all been in business separately for quite a long time. And we ended up getting together online via this community, actually, a couple of years ago to form FreshPay, as we couldn't find the right cloud payroll software for our needs. And judging by the response we've received, not many other firms have either. Please do feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn. We'll put the links into the chat at some point. Our goal is to make processing payroll as simple, fast, and automated as possible to free up your time to do more of the things you love, whether that's more payroll or sunbathing on a beach with your laptop by your side. We do have a Facebook community, so if you're not already a member, please join. We will put the link to it in the chat. There are a couple of questions to answer, as we want to make sure that we keep it to payroll professionals, so it remains a safe space where you can ask anything you like or have a rant without fear of recrimination. As Mark said, please do put any questions in the Q&A rather than the chat, and we will have some time at the end to go through these, although I'm sure Mark is going to interrupt me if there are any pressing questions that arise.
Good point, Jenny.
Oh.
Good
yeah.
Point. So can I just ask a really quick question?
Yeah.
Individually, the three of you, what was your biggest frustration with the payroll software that you were currently using that made you do this?
Well, I think there were lots. I think one of the main things was the lack of, because it was desktop based, the lack of several people being able to use it at the same time was a big thing. I had quite a few data corruptions because one person would go into the software at the same time as somebody else, and we would get corruptions. Really hard to share it with the employers. And from Claire's point of view, she outsources. She gets payroll outsourced to her from other accountants, and they could never have a view of the payroll at all. So you could get the employers to have a view, and she could have a view, but the accountants never could. So that was a big frustration. The lack of automations was the other thing. It takes so much time. I'll show you a bit later.
Yeah.
Processing payroll on desktop. So it wasn't one major thing. There were several reasons that, and everything else that we do in accountancy nowadays, pretty much everything else is on the cloud.
Yeah. Okay, so visibility was the top one, and then automations. Brilliant, thank you.
Yeah, it's okay. As Mark's just asked, well, this is what we're going to be showing you today. The advantages that we feel, the biggest advantages we feel with the cloud payroll software that we're going to be showing you, moving it to the cloud. We will show you how using FreshPay can make collaboration better. That's collaboration with your internal colleagues, collaboration with your payroll outsourcers, collaboration with your employers, and also with their employees. We'll show you how using automation with FreshPay can save hours of time, especially with, for example, our automated direct to pay module. And that leaves you free to either pursue your leisure activities or even take on new customers. You can work on any device with an internet browser, so you can work from anywhere. One of our early adopters has now put her travel dreams into reality and often processes payroll from far-flung corners of the world. We'll show you how, with transparent pricing and time-saving features, you can make profitable payroll a more profitable arm of your business. Also, we've been finding that customers are often happy to pay more for their payroll service just to get better access for themselves and their employees. Having your payroll software in the cloud means that the version you are using is always the most recent one. You haven't got to update it. You haven't got all your colleagues to update it to the same version. Any changes in tax and NIC thresholds and rates are automatically applied as well. Recently, we heard about some desktop software that hadn't been updated, resulting in employees and HMRCs being paid the wrong amounts for a few months. Excuse me. The latest top levels of security are always applied to the software, so you haven't got to worry about your antivirus software and your firewalls being out of date, although we do recommend that you keep them up to date anyway. You also don't have to worry about what happens when you get the blue screen of death on your computer, or if there's a fire at your office. The data is all backed up in accordance with the best practice guidelines under GDPR. So now I'm going to jump into a demo of the product and show you how this all knits together. So this is your payroll dashboard. You can see there's various statistics. You can see at a glance all of your companies, the type of company they are, the frequency, the payroll frequency, the number of employees, and also their status at a particular glance. So you can see if there's an error, or if you're still waiting for things to be submitted. You've got, talking about the collaboration, because obviously this helps, we have our users. You can add as many users as you like. We don't charge on a per seat basis. So when you have your users, you can give them different permissions. So you might have somebody who is very junior, so you don't want them to finalize the pay runs or do any of this. So you would just add them as a user without ticking any of these boxes. On the other end of the scale, you might have an admin user and you want them to do all of those things. So you would then tick them all. What we've also found people have been using the users for, which is really useful, is some of our customers have employers who like to put in their own hours. So again, you would add them as a user and you would assign them to the one company, and that's all they would be able to see. They would just be able to see and amend their one company. First of all, I will show you the automated direct to pay because it won't take very long at all. This is one that I set up with a weekly pay. And in about week 36, I clicked process automatically, and I have done nothing else since. The green box, when it's colored green, it denotes that that's been submitted, finalized, and everything's done. So as you can see, these are all submitted every week, submitted to HMRC. The EPS is submitted every month. The pay slips are uploaded to the portal, and that's it. So you set that up at the beginning of the year. Takes, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 minutes to set up a direct to pay and the employees, and then you tick automatically process, and it's done. So I'm going to show you a more detailed company now. This company, you can see months 1 to 8 are finalized and done. Months 9, 10, 11 are actually overdue because they haven't been finalized. So you can see at a glance they're done. It defaults to the current month whenever you go in. And you also have your CIS subcontractor flow here. You can add in new payroll frequencies. So if you've got a fortnightly or a weekly or a 4-weekly payroll as well, you can add them in. Just before I go into the payroll, I'm going to show you some other features. So we have a zero connection at the moment, and the zero connection is really simple. Once you've set up all your mappings, you can set it to both tracking categories on zero as well, to post to both tracking categories. You then have a monthly journal that you can, or a weekly journal, and you can choose to push it over. You can choose it whether it's approved or posted as approved or draft. You can set up your departments. You have you can have as many departments as you like, and it's really easy to just amend them. Your pension, we connect with Pension Sync. So if your employers have got pensions with Nest, the People's Pension, Smart Pension, Now Pension, Aviva, or Legal and General, this will automatically connect to Pension Sync and submit all your pension reports each month. We have an employer portal. You can add in new employer invitations whenever you like. Again, there's no limit to these. You can see when they're accepted. And the employer can see everything that we can see, except some of the setup. They wouldn't be able to amend anything. We also have company pay templates. So these are your standard company rates. These are also customizable at individual employee level, but these are just for standard company rates. And we also have the additions and deductions. Really easy to add new additions and deductions, and choose whether they're taxable, nickable, or pensionable.
Jenny, sorry, just really quickly, just to go back slightly. Alison, I've got your question. I'll make sure that gets answered towards the end. I think Jenny will cover off that. But Peter's asked, with the automatic payroll for directors, will they get a notification or email to say your new payslip is here?
Not right at the moment. The employee notifications are going to be live in the next few weeks.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
So yes, company templates. You can set these up with, you can amend them at any time, set them up with default amounts or leave them as 0, which makes life really easy. I know in our practice, I've had a couple of new payroll people over the last year or two, and they've sometimes set up bonuses as being pensionable when they shouldn't have been. So, you know, I think this is really useful that you've got it set up as a standard. But anyway, talking about the portals, we also have the employee portal. So once you've set up your employee and you've given them an email address, you can just send them the invitation. It's a really easy. You can see whether it's done or not. The employee portal can see, the employee will be able to see everything that we can see, but they can't see non-finalized pay runs. So for example, December here is not being finalized. I can tell that because I can amend their pay. They wouldn't be able to see them, but they will be able to see previous pay runs with all the details of how it's been calculated, and they will also be able to download their pay slips and see any of their other details.
Me again. Joanne's asked, does the auto journal deal with employers' allowance and SMP?
Yes, it does.
Excellent. And Jonathan has asked, for most of my director only payrolls, they usually don't have any tax to pay. As a result, they tend to miss it with if something changes, and they do. Is there any way we can do a review or get an alert so we can make sure they don't miss it?
Yes. So if there are any tax code changes to the director's pay, that will flag up for you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay. We have the employee calendar where you can add unpaid leave, holiday, etc., etc. Paternity leave, maternity leave. This person, it's not very clear actually on here, had a day's unpaid leave in February. And if we just go back to our February pay, you can see clearly that we've got unpaid leave deducted here. So their basic salary stays the same, but they have unpaid leave taken off. Just have a look if
Jenny, sorry, just a quick one from me. So just so I can understand it, is that accessible by the company so that they could add it if they wanted, or is that for? Not
at the moment.
Right. Okay.
So we are working on a much more interactive employer portal, but at the moment this is only amendable by a user. So if you could add your employer in as a user, so they could then do that themselves. But at the moment it's only viewable by the employer portal, if that makes sense.
Thank you.
So this person is on maternity, and they started their maternity in September. And again, it automatically takes out their salary, but it keeps it in as well for the months, because it's again, that's something else we found when we sort of changed tax years. We don't actually know what the person, we have to go back to the previous tax year to find out what their salary is when they come back from maternity. Obviously, we have their personal details, bank account, employment details. We have tax and loans. We automatically download tax code notice changes from HMRC, but we flag them so you can see. We also keep the history on here. So this person, for example, started off on a code of 1257L, moved to 212T week 1, month 1 on the 1st of January, and then the 1st of February moved back to 1257L. This is still editable because February isn't closed yet. It will flag up on here, and you will see it on the payroll summary, which we'll show you in a few minutes. Also, you can see their salary and work pattern. Their salary is below the minimum wage, and this will flag up. Obviously, for anybody national minimum wage, it will flag up when they change when they go past a birthday, if that affects their national minimum wage as well. The other area that's nearly always going to be flagged is your pension. So we have got this person, for example, needs to be enrolled into the pension. FreshPay automatically assesses everyone for you and tells you when they're ready to enroll. And talking about the pensions automatic enrollment, re-enrollment, you set your date in for re-enrollment into the system. It will remind you 3 months beforehand and 3 months afterwards that you need to do your automatic re-enrollment. And when you're ready, you just click in the pension settings, re-enroll the employees. You choose your date. It's already been done for this company, as you can see. You choose your date, and it will automatically assess anybody who's opted out and reflag them for you. So when we go into the pay run details, you can see on here the flags are really obvious. You can then go straight to the employee from this page and see what the flag is. Amending, oh, Mark's come back again.
We've had a question of, does the system generate payroll letters, enrolment, etc. from Joanne?
Yes, all the pension letters are automatically generated.
Brilliant, thank you. And Donna's just in the chat has put, does the SMP deal with the employer's pension staying at the same rate previous to maternity leave?
That's a very good question. I don't believe it does. We have talked about it. I would have to double check on that.
Okay.
Sorry. It's something that I know that we've talked about, and I don't know whether we've actually implemented that or not. But that's definitely on there.
Brilliant. I'll make sure I make a note of that, Jenny, and I'll pass over the details, and then we can get back to Donna on that.
Yes. Yeah.
Carolyn's just asked a question. Does FreshPay check for any changes to an employee's NI category? For example, if someone reaches state pension age and employer. Yeah.
Yes, it does. And it flags it up for you. And in fact, it's something we're probably going to put it in that automatically changes and flags it. But at the moment, it just flags it so that you change it yourself. But that's a sort of 1 second job, so that we're putting in that automation we might do.
Brilliant. Thank you. Keep the questions coming in. I think they're brilliant, and it's
Please
really
do. Yeah.
Everyone's getting involved.
Yeah. So amending people's pay, you can do that directly in the individual employee. You can change their gross salary for just the 1 month. If you want to change their salary, you do it in there within their employee record. But this is really useful if they've just had 1 month where they've changed their salary for the month. You can also calculate it on a gross to net, a net to gross value. You can add in their hours here. So you can see this one has got the regular company templates, and it's also got an individual employee rate here as well. You can add new rates here, as many as you like. You have your additions and deductions here. Again, you can choose them for the list. This person, again, you can calculate this on net pay. So if this person's net pay at the moment is 7,372, if I wanted them to have a £100 bonus, make it 7,472. Just going to submit that, and you can see the bonus is calculated automatically there. You can make this recurring and give it an end date, or you can just leave it without an end date, and it will continue to recur each month. And of course, you can delete it at any time up until the payroll is locked. Again, similarly with the deductions, we can add new earnings orders, or we can add new deductions, but these are all on one list. We've also got the benefits. So this is for payrolling of benefits in kind. I didn't show you that bit. So here we can add new benefits. So we can say it's a voucher, say Amazon Prime, maybe you're paying this for your employee each month. Is it $7.99 still? I don't know. You can add that on. Oh, I'm in the, sorry, I can't remember which month we're doing, month 9. So again, if I just choose this one, make this window a bit bigger, add new, I'm going to go voucher, I've got Amazon Prime, $7.99, make recurring. Every month we're paying that on behalf of the employee. And that will adjust their tax and national insurance when applicable. We can have the other way to get the information in is bulk edit. So you can see I've only got a couple of hourly paid employees here. I've got Ariana Grande. I'm sure she's paid more than £25 an hour. We have people such as Billie Eilish, who might be on standard overtime. Just add them in here. You have bank holiday overtime. These are your company templates. Just need to click on them and add them on. We scroll over a bit more, and we've got all our additions and deductions templates as well. I was telling you my internet connection is unstable. Once you've done that, you save it, and that automatically populates everything into their pay. You can download multiple reports here. You have your period summary, which is your pay period, and you've got your tax summary, which is obviously your tax period if you have not a monthly paid or have more than one pay period on there. Employee payments, pensions report, employer's payslip. Once you're ready to send this to your employer, you click on Finalize Pay Run. You have your summary come up. So this was one of the problems that we were finding with some of the softwares we were trialing, is that when you clicked Finalize, it just did it and you didn't know what it was doing. So here it's giving you all your warnings, anybody that needs to be enrolled into the pension or taken out of the pension, anybody who's under national minimum wage, and it will then give you your summary of what's happening. So the number of employees you're processing, if you've got any starters, any leavers, anybody being enrolled into the pension, anybody leaving the pension, will all come up here. Obviously, I'm having to do an excuse to HMRC because we're running late. So we can lock it for approval at this point. And you can see it changes color. So again, you can see really clearly when it's ready to be finalized. And you can't make any amendments to this now unless you unlock it. When you confirm and submit, you come up with the same summary warnings and confirm proceed. And on pay date, which at this point is actually in the past, but normally would be in the future, the pay slips get uploaded and any P45s and pensions letters get uploaded to the portal. The RTI goes to HMRC. The pensions get uploaded to the pension company. You haven't got to worry about enrolling your employees first and then doing the contributions and then authorizing for payment. It does all that for you. On pay date, it also automatically sends the EPS to HMRC. So you haven't got to worry about going back in and doing that. We'll have a quick look at the CIS flow. These are our contractors lists. You can see obviously at a glance whether they're verified or not verified. You can add new ones very easily. When you go into them, you can verify them online. You can manually change it if you need to, and you can change their details anytime. You can also view all of their invoices here, and you can amend these at any point up until they've been submitted on the SIS. So I could remove that and say, I don't want that. I know none of the CIS has been submitted. So this one hasn't got invoice number, so I'd probably want to remove it.
Jenny, just really quickly on the question from something you were talking about a moment ago. Marcus has asked, how do you cater for the 52-week average holiday entitlement?
We don't at the moment. We are working on the holiday pay, but at the moment, nobody using FreshPay has got enough data in it to calculate the 52 weeks, because obviously you need to go back 104 weeks. So our current users have been using it for almost 52 weeks now. We only launched last April. So the holiday pay calculations will be coming through within the next few months.
Excellent, thank you.
So back on the CIS flow, when you go to do your returns, you can see obviously these are failed. You add your invoices up here. You can just select your subcontractor, choose an invoice number and a date. Bob the Builder is VAT registered, so you get the option of whether he's 0% or 20% on the VAT. You put in your labour, expenses, your materials, and save. And when you're ready to submit your CIS return, you can suspend and submit it. You can suspend it for up to 6 months, and when the suspension is finished, I'm sorry, there's somebody at my office door. I'm being really distracted. That when the suspension is finished, it will remind you that your suspension is finished and that you need to submit it. Mark, could you take over for 2 seconds, please?
Sure. We have musical interlude. I'm not going to sing. Don't worry.
I'm just on a webinar. Thanks. Sorry. I just realised I didn't mute as well. Apologies.
You're on a webinar, Jenny. You're on a webinar.
I know.
We can cut all that bit out. Nobody will notice. It's
Nobody will
fine.
notice. Nobody saw.
The wonders of modern technology.
I never. This is the only client that visits my office, and he comes about once a month, and it's typical that it's this is today, right now.
There you go.
Anyway,
I'll leave it with you.
Yeah. Apologies, everyone. So I think that's pretty much the demo of the software. I'm not sure there's very much more I can show you on that. What I can do is talk to you now about making payroll profitable. So awesome. One of the barriers.
Jenny, before you dive in, just a couple of questions to finish that off for
Sure.
you. Marcus has asked, can you calculate holiday pay for workers without fixed hours or pay?
No, so that was very similar to the 52-week average question. So not at the moment because we don't have the data in there. Okay. We do have a very helpful holiday pay calculator spreadsheet, or holiday time calculator spreadsheet on our website that you can download. Excellent. If you want.
Thank you. Joanne's asked, can you submit CIS suffered?
Yes. Sorry, I didn't show you that. Right here on the front page, you put in your CIS suffered in here, and that will automatically populate in your monthly EPS.
Brilliant. Dan's just asked, is there an option to download reports automatically send to the employer, or is it all via the portal?
So at the moment, it's all via the portal. But you can download the reports. All the reports are here. So you have all your pension letters. You can see when they're sent. Your reports to HMRC, so you can see when they've been submitted. With the HMRC, we've got it split between FPS, EPS, CIS, and verification. So you can always got that audit trail. You've got all your pay slips, your CIS and deduction statements, and your monthly reports. So you do need to download them and send them to the employer at the moment, or get them to log into the portal to view them. But again, that's the notifications and being able to actually send them automatically is being worked on right now. So they should be in
I've got
the
a
next
few
few
more.
weeks.
Alison, I haven't missed your question. I did say when it came in at the time, I will ask it, but I think Jenny will cover off some of it. If she doesn't, then I will ask it for sure right at the end, or nearer to the end. Joanne has also asked, is there a P30 and is there a way to track what has been paid to reconcile for PAYE?
Right. There is a P30. That's in all the reports. There's also a P32. The reconciliation is something, again, I keep saying this, we are working on that at the moment. So that will be live pretty soon.
Yeah, just from my perspective, one of the great things about software like this is that you are wanting to work with people that have maybe some slightly different stuff and wanting to make it available to everybody and anything that you guys perhaps don't use currently or anything else. Just a reminder, any questions, please post them in the Q&A as opposed to the chat, because I do have a little bit of trouble keeping up with the chat. But I've just seen this one from Donna. In the case of an employee not having an email, can we print the pay slips to send to the employee?
Yes, you can just download them and print them.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll leave you.
Thank you. Just following on from what you were just saying, actually, Mark, one of our visions is to be the one of the things that we struggled with, I think, as trying to run payroll and using payroll software was that the software companies didn't ever seem to listen to us, and they didn't seem to know what we really needed and really wanted. And that's our aim is to be that the software company that does listen to its customers and adapt with everything that you're wanting to do. So back to making payroll profitable. So one of the barriers that we come across is that cloud payroll software can appear to be a lot more expensive than desktop. There are reasons for that. It is actually very, very expensive to develop. But our pricing structure means that you always know how much each new customer is going to cost you in software every month. So you can factor that into your pricing. There's no big jump when you move from, say, 10 to 11 or 25 to 26 employers, as there is with some other softwares. We also have no limits on the number of employees. And for bureaus, we don't price per employee, as that model doesn't make any sense to people like us who process payroll on behalf of other companies. And we don't have any control over how many employees they have. We only have control over how many employers we take on. And as I say, you're always going to know with our pricing what that cost is going to be. The other way that we help you make more money from payroll is the hours that are saved via the automations. So, for example, when calculating unpaid leave or deducting for sick days taken, reducing salary when an employee goes on maternity or paternity leave, how often do you make the calculation, double check it again, and then maybe once more to be sure? We all do that. Well, we do. Once you've set up FreshPay to calculate daily rates how you choose, and you've checked FreshPay's calculations a few times, you'll be able to relax and trust the software to do its job. FreshPay also has automated pay rise, mid-period pay rise calculations. You can put in future pay rises, and it will only start when the date that you've put it through. And also for mid-period starters and leavers, it will do that automatically as well. I think another area where FreshPay really shines is the automation of the pay run finalization. One click and you're done. So on payday, everything goes. HMRC get their report. The employees get their pay slips and their P45s and their pension letters. So here is an example of the period end payroll processes. So you can see at a glance how the finalizing of payroll can make a huge difference to your time. So this is what we were doing before on desktop. And then on FreshPay, you just one button at the end and it does it all. As I've just said, our pricing is different, and we've worked really hard to provide a fair and transparent pricing model. Our pricing is all on our website, and there is a calculator as well. So it's per employer rather than per employee, and tiered to help your business to scale easily. This is our pricing model. So the first, for a bureau, your minimum charge will be £25 per month for your first 5 employers, and up to 10 director pays for £10 a month. We split it out between director pay, which has only the very basic payroll functionality. There's no pensions, there's no working patterns. It's just literally their pay. And as you've seen, that's automated. And then we have the full payroll access, which have all functionality and available in it, including CIS and P11Ds. You can also add on P11Ds for director only pay, for a fee of a one-off annual fee of £15. After the first employer, for full employers, the per employer costs are a maximum of £5 per employer per month. This is regardless of how many employees are in the company. There are no additional per employee costs. As I said, there is a calculator on our website, freshpay.cloud, where you can put in the number of employers and director pays you have, and it will tell you your monthly cost. However, we do have some special offers for the group today. So for the first 10 companies that sign up from this group, you will get free director pay for each employer you bring on for the first year. So if you have 10 employers, your director pay is completely free. You will get a 10% discount for paying 1 year upfront. You will get entry to the WhatsApp group for priority customer support. I haven't actually talked about customer support yet, so I'll come on to that in a minute. And you can also get a 25% discount on migration. So I haven't talked about migration either. So we do, customer support is another thing actually where we felt we were not being served at all by software companies, payroll software, and actually probably a lot of software. I think you probably, hopefully everyone has the same similar experiences. But customer support is really, really important to us. So we have telephone support. You can email in the support. We have a support ticket system, and we will be putting a live chat on the website. We do have all our guides published on our website as well. So guides of how to do stuff. The customer support will always be UK based and telephone. Obviously, we're a UK company because we're all, yeah. Migration, so converting over from payroll, changing your payroll software is obviously something that's a big thing to do. It's really hard, and it's one of the big barriers of changing payroll software. So we offer a migration support service. So you can send us your information and we will migrate it over into FreshPay, but it is a paid for support. The costs for that are £25 per employer or £10 for a director pay. So now it's time for Q&A.
Thank you very much, Jenny. It's brilliant, and it's really nice to see a bit more about the software that I've heard so much about over the last year or so. There's a couple of questions that we've previously had about the migration. So from my perspective, is there any software that you currently can't migrate from?
No, because you can send us the CSV files.
Perfect. So it's just all technically by CSV. Brilliant. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, with if you're with BrightPay or MoneySoft, you can just send us the backup files if that's better for you. But anything else, just send us the CSVs. Excellent.
Okay. The integrations that you talked about earlier on for Xero.
Yep.
What's the roadmap for some of the other? So we've had Free Agent and also QuickBooks questions.
QuickBooks is definitely the next accounting integration that we want to go with, followed by Sage. We have put Free Agent further down the list simply because mostly it's just a director only one. I would suggest with Free Agent, I don't know actually, but if that's something that's definitely called for by our community, we will put that higher up the list.
Excellent, thank you. And just, I ought to add this one in. Lola has just said, I would like to say, as a user, the customer support is amazing. I've never come across a software provider that replies and answers my queries as quickly as FreshPay. So that's
Fabulous. Thank you, Lola.
That's a nice.
That's what we aim for. That's what we aim for.
So Joanne asked, is it about import from other software, which you've done, and she also asked about, does it integrate with Modular?
It doesn't at the moment. Again, the integrations, payment integrations, Modular, Telaroo, Cresco are high up on the agenda. So again, within the next 3 to 6 months, they will definitely be up there.
Excellent. And so I'm going to ask the ones that have been on live just to make sure we get through those. Do you have anything for access rights? We use another payroll provider and our client enters the staff hours, but some staff, e.g. managers, are hidden. Do you have anything for this?
We don't at the moment, no.
Okay. Joe has asked, is there a limit on the number of users?
No, no limits.
Is pension integration included in these prices?
Yes, it is. Excellent.
And Penny has asked, can we do our own import of payroll backup? Sorry, BrightPay backups.
It would have to be imported by CSV. So we don't have an import where you can import from BrightPay or Moneysoft. If you wanted us to do the migration, we would be able to pull that information out of BrightPay or Moneysoft, out of your backups for you. But the migration would actually be via CSV.
Okay. However, depending on how many there is, it doesn't massively an expensive job to pass to somebody else. No. I'm sure Penny's got better things to do with her time than do imports of. She'll particularly like me for that. Another couple that have just come in live. Do you have a roadmap of the Cresco and other integrations, just so we have an idea?
We don't have anything published. We're actually just getting that. It's just one of those things we need to sort of put graphics on and do it. But it's within the next. I would say the Cresco modular Telaroo integrations will be in the next 3 months. They're quite straightforward ones to do, but it's just getting the development time available.
Perfect, thank you. Joanne's asked, what happens if 2 people are trying to work on the same employer at the same time?
They work on the same employer at the same time. Nothing.
So the last person to update will be the last update that's seen in there. A bit like a live spreadsheet on Google.
Yes.
Perfect. Knew my IT knowledge would come in handy somewhere. BrightPay has a rehire button. Does FreshPay have anything similar?
We've talked about this at detail. That might be one that we need to come back to, because I know we've talked about it and I can't remember if we've implemented it or not. Sorry.
Excellent. So
I know that we've talked about in detail, and whether we've actually implemented it or not, I can't remember. Sorry.
No worries. Okay.
I blame my age.
Brilliant. And does FreshPay automatically cater if employer is eligible for employment allowance claim?
Does it automatically check? No, it doesn't.
Brilliant. Okay, so we've got a couple of minutes left, so I'm just going to have a quick look at the questions that were posted when people signed up. Casey asked, can FreshPay deal with journaling employment allowance?
Yes.
I think you covered that before, didn't you? Brilliant. Yep. Okay. And does it
comes through both on the payroll journal report, or if you're integrated with Xero, then it automatically posts it within Xero.
Sunil asked, does it have a kiosk to clock in and out?
No, we don't have timesheet capability.
Okay, and simplifying pension certification is the only 3 words I have, so I'm not sure a question, but I'm sure you'll understand that better than me.
I'm not sure I understand that. I did see that, and I wondered. I wasn't sure what that referred to, unless it meant pension auto. The enrolment and the assessments, possibly, which you covered. I think I covered. Yeah.
Modular integration we've already done. Who should do the registration of payrolling benefits by the gateway? That was from Becky.
Oh, well, we actually did a webinar last week on the payrolling of benefits in kind. You need to do it as the customer. You cannot use your agent's government gateway ID to do it. What I actually did one last week myself for one of my customers. They added me as a user or a delegate on their account, on their government gateway account, and I just logged in and did it. It was pretty simple.
Good.
Really simple.
Okay, so Marcus, we are coming close to the time, and Jenny, there was you saying you wouldn't have enough to fill the.
I thought it was an hour. Is it only 45 minutes?
Yeah, yes, we are coming. Yeah, we're coming. So
Good,
Marcus has asked, and if anybody's got any other questions, then please feel free to add them to the Q&A. But the last one I have is, if my guys need training, what do we do?
Talk to us.
We'll do training as well as migration.
We want, yeah. Well, you know, depending on sort of how detailed you want it, you know, I mean, it's pretty simple, intuitive software. So, you know, we're happy to sit with your guys for an hour or whatever and show them how to do it, how to do stuff. That's no problem at all. More than happy to do that. Obviously, we can't give you training on payroll as such, but we're happy to do, you know, training on FreshPay. We want everyone to be using it to the best of its capabilities, because it's really, it looks really simple and intuitive, but it's actually really powerful under the bonnet.
So Marcus has asked about the cost. So what I was going to suggest is that perhaps, have you got a link to share on what's the next step for people? So there's been a lot of great questions as far as I'm concerned. There's lots of potentially interested people there. So have you got a link that you can share of what the next steps is, and also have a reminder of the offer for, I think it's the first 10. Yeah,
first 10 sign-ups from this group. The link, Claire, hopefully Claire will have a link, getting a link ready for the book a demo. We don't have, you can't automatically sign up right now. We manually sign you up, but we've got Joe is our head of biz dev, and he will speak to you and sign you up if you want a free trial. And what was the other question you asked?
Oh, it was about the cost of training, but I'm sure that when if Marcus gets in touch, he can have a conversation with you about training costs and stuff like that.
Definitely.
Yeah, Joe and Claire have just put that link in, so that's brilliant. Thank you. So if you're interested in finding out a bit more information or signing up and getting the offer of the first 10, so be quick, because once the video goes out to the rest of the registrants, I'm sure there'll be more interested people. So get in there quick. Jenny, can you just remind us of the offer as well? Just
so for the first 10, you will get free direct to pay for each employer you bring on for the first year. If you want to pay for a year up front, you'll get a 10% discount. You'll get entry to our WhatsApp group for priority customer support, and you'll get a 25% discount on the migration.
Awesome.
Just talking about the year up front, something else which I didn't cover, I didn't think it really matters that much. We don't tie you into a contract. So if you come to us for 3 months or a month and go, actually, I don't like it, we don't make you pay for another year or whatever. You can just come for a month and go away again. I don't think anybody's ever done that.
It's a lot of work, wouldn't it?
It would be a lot of work, yeah. And we offer the free trial for a month anyway, so you can play around with it, set a couple of companies up, and make sure you're happy with it before you actually migrate over.
I think if I remember rightly, that's exactly what one of the members of our group community had done with you, hadn't they? They'd signed up. Test payroll through, loved it, and then carried on. So brilliant. Okay, so there's no more questions I have, unless anybody's got anything burning. I can let the FreshPay team go and speak to people on signing up.
Thank you very much for having us, Mark and Michelle.
You're very welcome.
And, thank you everyone for joining and listening to me for so long.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much. So we'll see you soon. The link is in the chat. So please, hang on a second. Yeah, Joe's put the link in the chat to everybody. I think Claire put it just to us, but Joe has put the link in the chat. So if you're interested, then please feel free to sign up. And yes, we'll speak to you all soon.
Look forward to seeing you on FreshPay. Take care. Bye. Bye.
Thank you for watching our webinar with Jenny, Claire and Nikki from FreshPay. It was great to see the enthusiasm Jenny had with the software during the demo. I know that all three of the ladies have worked really hard to ensure the problems they experienced with their payroll software is not going to happen anymore with their FreshPay software. So down here on the screen, somewhere below, you should be seeing the next videos we recommend you watch. But please like and subscribe to our channel to ensure you don't miss any content that we release that will help you run a better practice.